Hi everybody. The crypto market is still down, sadly true, but that's a good time to buy. And one notable billionaire has been in the crypto press lately for buying. There are a few other billionaires we're going to talk about in this video, so stick around to hear about them too. Bill Miller is an investor famous for beating the S&P 500 for 15 years running, from 1991 to 2005. He was named by Money Magazine as the greatest money manager of the 1990s, and SmartMoney named him a member of their Power 30 most influential investors in the world. And according to Super Yacht Fan Club? Heck of a name, guys. Miller had an estimated net worth of about $500 million, but his investment in Bitcoin is what made him a billionaire. Miller recently revealed in a rare interview that 50% of his personal net worth is in Bitcoin, and it sounds like he's still buying more Bitcoin and Bitcoin-related investments like mining companies and stock in MicroStrategy. He says it's the top investment he'd recommend right now. In the interview, Miller says he was first convinced to buy Bitcoin after hearing Wences Caceres speak. Now, I had not heard of Caceres before, but apparently he is known as Patient Zero amongst... It's unclear who exactly. Maybe he's known by that name to his fellow mega millionaires and billionaire friends. In fairness, it sounds like Caceres was way early to the Bitcoin party, which is impressive on its own, and even more impressive for somebody from a conventional business and finance background. In my experience, the people who were in cryptocurrency back in 2013 were libertarian idealists who hated the Federal Reserve and questioned the long-term viability of the US dollar and its dominance. I went to Bitcoin meetings back then, and I mean this with all the love in the world. It was really the island of misfit toys, you guys. We were all weirdos. So kudos to Caceres for being early, even though he had plenty of clout and success and money from other ventures. He certainly didn't have to be into Bitcoin. Notably, Caceres is from Argentina, and that might explain a lot. Miller seems to really get it with Bitcoin, and like Caceres, maybe that comes from painful experience. Look at what happened after his 15-year run beating the S&P. Miller's fund was hit hard in 2008, and those who invested in his fund, along with the press, pulled no punches. The 2008 recession, quote, wiped away Value Trust's years of market-beating performance. The fund is now, in 2008, among the worst performing in its class for the last 1, 3, 5, and 10-year periods, according to Morningstar, an investment research firm. Now get this from one of his investors. Why didn't I just throw my money out the window and light it on fire? Says Peter Cohen, a management consultant and venture capital investor who owns Value Trust shares. Ouch! That can't have felt good for Miller, who had had the Midas touch for most of the prior 20 years. Maybe that's why he was open to new ideas and new strategies in 2014, when he first heard about Bitcoin from Caceres. You gotta hand it to Miller. Call me ageist, but I don't expect boomers to really understand this stuff. Just look at Miller's contemporaries, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. To say that they don't understand this is a very polite understatement.
Cryptocurrencies basically have no value.
Bitcoin is worthless artificial gold.
Screw politeness. Here's a free tip. Don't take technology tips from a 98-year-old non-technologist. Deal? Let's call this part of my video my open letter to Charlie Munger. Charlie, buddy, you've had a good run, but you're way outside your wheelhouse, and to mix metaphors, maybe you need to stay in your own lane. The number one investment for Berkshire Hathaway right now is technology. Apple, a truly innovative company. So maybe embrace innovation a bit more. Then again, your number 2 and number 4 investments right now are a bank and a credit card company. So you might not be so keen on a new monetary paradigm that would totally disrupt your existing old money moneymakers. You also made a ton shilling Coca-Cola and highly processed lunch meat. You're really gonna talk to younger people about monetary technology you know nothing about, call it rat poison, while the Fed is printing trillions of dollars and the dollar's inflating at 7%, and there's no end in sight. Why don't you ask your customers in Venezuela how inflation is working out for them? You'll probably be dead when this hits, but we're likely headed for an economic collapse that'll make 2008 look like a dress rehearsal, and you're stuck on comparing Bitcoin to tulips. Munger is a smart guy, in his own time, in his own domain, which this is not. I'm not being very polite about this, but there are plenty of more respectful people who are also technologists who happen to agree with me.
They are incredible legends, obviously, Buffett and Munger, and we have a ton to learn from them. You know, like we said, productivity generating software is coming for every segment of the economy.
Not everybody is right all the time, and I think we have to acknowledge that we all have biases. And look, I'm a disciple of Buffett and Munger, and one of the things that they have said for years, which I believe, is you define a circle of competence and you stay within it.
Pow!
Maybe some of these pro-crypto technologist billionaires actually work with web-based money and payment systems.
If the internet gets a chance to get a native currency, what will that be? And
And to me, it's Bitcoin because of those principles, because of that creation story, because of its resilience, because of the number of tests it's been. But what inspires me the most is just the community driving it. It just reminds me of the early internet. It's the only reason that I have a career.
I think it makes sense to support something that improves the quality of information with which we conduct the economy. And Bitcoin is a candidate for that.
I'm getting carried away, but you take my meaning. Not everybody understands the total shift this stuff represents. And even if they're smart, even if they're successful, but it doesn't matter because the people actually building the future, the engineers and leaders pushing this stuff forward, they thankfully don't operate or think the same way as business and investment leaders of past decades. Just look at Changpeng Zhao, the founder and CEO of Binance, often known as CZ to those on crypto Twitter. He's making headlines for his estimated net worth of $96 billion. He was recently on Fox Business, and take a look.
Changpeng Zhao is the CEO of the crypto company Binance, and it all began, we are told, with a casual poker game. Sir, welcome to the show. Congrats on your success, and all I can say is that must have been one heck of a poker hand, right?
Thanks for having me here. Actually, I don't really think too much about it. I don't think people should be caring too much about their wealth rankings, etc. Actually, I don't know if I'm worth that much, to be honest. I think they probably over-reported.
CZ clearly isn't used to going on shows like this. He didn't answer the softball question that the interviewer gave him and immediately launched into how he doesn't really think about his own wealth that much. He also told them that their estimate was basically bogus, and it's kind of hilarious that this video shows a ticker for Litecoin. Litecoin, guys? Really, Fox News? What is this, 2014? 2017? Does anybody care about Litecoin? Is there a Litecoin community? Is there a Litecoin community? Hold on, I'm gonna go check this out. I'll be right back. Hey, I checked. There is, at the very least, an active subreddit for Litecoin, so people still care about this. But I would also like to note that on that subreddit, there's a prominent picture of Charlie Lee, founder of Litecoin, wearing a HODL shirt, which is funny given that Lee sold all of his Litecoin at the absolute top of the 2017 bull run. Apparently, Litecoin is still a thing, I just don't understand why. Anyway, back to the point. There's a fundamental difference in how technologists think about this stuff. OG institutional investors, they kinda maybe get it sometimes, but they struggle. Like Ray Dalio, founder of Bridgewater Associates, who seems increasingly interested in crypto, but is a bit skittish about regulation. Compare that to crypto natives like CZ or Sam Bankman-Fried, who founded the FTX crypto exchange. He has a net worth pegged at $26.5 billion, and like CZ, he seems to not really care that much about it. He doesn't care about suits or that CNBC life, and he's just focused on building things. All right, I will end my diatribe there. What do you think? Does Bill Miller show us that there's hope for our boomer elders, that they might actually embrace this? Or do we need to get all Kylo Ren about it and let old things die? Let me know down in the comments. We will address it all in a future video. Let me know what you would like to hear about. I want your questions, your thoughts, your ideas, your hopes, fears, dreams, and ambitions, your crazy conspiracy theories, so we can talk about it in the future. Thanks, team. Talk to you later.